Engineer to order manufacturing is very different from any other mixed mode manufacturing modes. So, which are the top 10 engineer to order ERP systems in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients with enterprise technology selection, change management, as well as implementation. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 engineer to order ERP systems in 2024. Before we look at the list, let's define what is an engineer to order. When you compare this with your make to order or make to stock, in general, you are going to have a lot more engineering involved as part of your engineer to order processes. The companies that follow engineer to order, they are going to have very large departments of engineers, whether you look at electrical engineers or mechanical engineers, and they will do a lot more engineering before they can build the product. Similar to your make to order, the most engineer to order processes are going to be once the order is placed, then only they are going to produce. In general, with engineer to order, there is a possibility that they might produce a lot more parts because they need to maintain the schedule and they might need to do pre-planning. So they might have a lot more supply chain planning involved as part of your ETO process. But in general, they are not going to store everything, especially the finished product, they don't necessarily store. ETO products are very complex. In general, they are going to be very long standing. So you require far more planning and scheduling that you need to manage as part of your ETO business. So you might have flavors of make to stock, make to order. You might have very complex project centric processes as part of your engineer to order as well. You will require revenue recognition capabilities, the milestone tracking. All of those capabilities are going to be relevant with engineer to order. The BOMs are going to be very complex. You are going to have a lot more cases of sub-assemblies. The kind of structures that you are building are going to be ever changing because the requirements are never fixed. You are in general collaborating with your customers as well. So the kind of systems and the architecture that you are going to require for your ETO industries are going to be very different from any other manufacturing industries. And from the industry perspective, this is probably going to be primarily discrete. Now, the criteria that we use to compile this list is that we look at product share, acquisition strategy, focused on ETO companies. We look at product map, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as the investors. So all of these factors we include to compile this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Rootstock. And if you're not familiar with Rootstock is part of Salesforce ecosystem. It's built on Salesforce platform. In general, when you look at these engineer to order companies, they are going to have far thicker sales process. They are going to have much longer deal cycle. So they are going to be far thicker with their processes from the sales perspective. So in most cases, they are going to have very, very, very thick CRM, and Salesforce is most commonly used in these verticals, especially if you're looking at verticals such as your oil and gas, medical device, all of these verticals, if they are going to be in the engineer to order space, they have very strong presence with their Salesforce installation. So the strength that you are looking at from the Rootstock perspective is it has native integration with Salesforce products. So one of the things that you are going to notice, especially in the engineer to order, that you require far deeper field service capabilities because the devices that you are going to build, they are also going to require services. And if you don't have the external channel, and even if you have the external channel, you will still require the collaboration with them. So field service capabilities in general becomes very complex, intertwined with your process. If you have serial numbers, then those serial numbers need to be tracked. The warranties need to be tracked. So it becomes very, very, very complex overall from the ETO perspective. So Rootstock is going to have that service cloud capability that is coming from Salesforce, they utilize that. So it is going to be available with Rootstock along with the other manufacturing capabilities. Rootstock along with your ETO capabilities is also going to have mixed mode manufacturing. The other ETO systems that we have in the market, they might not be able to support your part business or any other business units that you might have. In general, the ETO businesses are going to have the main machinery business unit, then you are going to have the parts business unit, and most likely you are probably going to have the field service business unit as well. And then WAS centric manufacturing capabilities in general are not as relevant for engineer to order. They are going to be slightly more relevant for project centric manufacturing, but even these spaces could be very complex. They might require WAS centric processes depending upon how complex the equipment device is, how complex your programs are. So Rootstock can support all of those manufacturing modes. The limitations that you're going to run into with Rootstock, the finance and accounting capabilities are not as deep as some of the other systems that we have on the list. And then it is going to rely on a lot more add-ons in general to enable the same experience that you are going to find with some of the other systems on this list. And that is going to be your quality module, field service we have already discussed. Even within the Salesforce portfolio, you will require a lot more add-ons and you might run into communication challenges. In general, you will have a lot more contracts, vendors involved, and that causes problems during the implementation. Final limitation that we have with Rootstock is the ecosystem is on a smaller side. They don't have as many installations as some of the other products on this list. So that's number 10. Number 9 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP. Oracle Cloud ERP in general is a very large product. So this is designed for very global ETO companies. Those are going to be publicly traded. In most cases, they are probably looking for best of breed architecture. The industries that Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be superior fit is construction, media, telecom equipment, and they are going to have very different CPQ processes. And in general, in your engineer to order spaces, you are probably going to require that. Now, in comparing this with other suite-centric products where you are going to have your CAD processes integrated as part of your suite, with Oracle Cloud ERP, you are looking at third-party add-ons to be able to integrate that. So that is not going to be available directly from Oracle. So that's going to be a little bit of limitation. The other strength that you're looking at from Oracle Cloud ERP perspective is the finance capabilities are designed for those large global manufacturers. The number of layers that you are going to have overall in your financial hierarchy are going to be far more than your mid-market centric systems. And that could be handy for those large enterprise-centric companies. Proven solution for large workloads. The transaction volume that it has been proven in these spaces for these Fortune 500,000 companies, that requires far more firepower overall from the transactional processing capabilities perspective. So Oracle Cloud ERP has been proven there. The ecosystem is going to be far stronger as well. The consulting base in the locations where you are not going to find the other suite-centric products. The limitations are going to be very similar to any other vanilla products, similar to your SAP S/4HANA, that last mile capabilities as well as the ETO integrations that you are going to find as part of the suite-centric products are going to be limited. And Oracle Cloud ERP is not necessarily a manufacturing solution. It targets primarily the service-centric companies. It has a lot more logos in service-centric companies. So overall, the manufacturing capabilities are not going to be as robust. The last mile integrations that you are going to find in the Oracle Cloud ERP ecosystem might not be as many as you will find with companies that have a lot more logos in those spaces. And it's probably going to be overwhelming for very SMB ETO companies. So that's number 9. Now, number 8 on our list is Acumatica. Acumatica targets SMB engineer to order companies. The way the product model is designed, the way the process model is designed, it's friendly for ETO companies. It is going to have the project structure from the financial milestone tracking perspective. It is going to have all of those capabilities. But the limitations that you're going to run into with Acumatica is in rich manufacturing capabilities when you require very distinct traceability, when you might have very complex reporting process from your machine versus labor perspective. Those, or let's say if you look at allocation processes, the way you are allocating different inventory to different customers, or if you have very complex algorithm for your allocation, those capabilities might not be as rich, at least as of today. The other strengths that you are going to run into with Acumatica is the support for your sub-assemblies as well as Phantom. That is going to be far richer because Acumatica does really well in other spaces. For example, let's say if you look at slightly more project-centric spaces, in those, the fluid bomb is probably going to be really handy. So that's where your Phantom functionality becomes super critical. And that's why Acumatica has all of those capabilities. And these are going to be equally relevant for your engineer to order spaces as well. Then the final strength that we have with Acumatica is the product is very diverse. It combines several different business models, especially when you look at business models such as your field service, that is going to be equally relevant for your ETO manufacturer. So field service plus your ETO plus make to order plus make to stock, all of these capabilities are going to be required, and Acumatica has all of those capabilities. That's why for SMB ETO, it could be a great system. The limitations that you are going to run into with Acumatica is the overall global capabilities are not going to be as much as you are going to find with slightly larger products. It is not globalized and localized in as many countries when you compare this with the bigger systems. And the other limitations that you are going to run into with Acumatica is you'll probably require a lot more add-ons, especially when you look at the quality add-ons, etc. Those would be required with Acumatica. So that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA is the large product, and this is going to be comparable to your Oracle Cloud ERP. But with SAP S/4HANA, the BOM model, the product model, is friendlier for engineer to order centric companies. It can support capabilities such as product attributes, product specifications, and these are going to be very relevant for your engineer to order spaces. Now, the strengths that you're looking at for SAP S/4HANA is it's the enterprise grade product. When you are looking at that best of breed architecture, that's where SAP S/4HANA is going to be really handy. The power of HANA is going to be relevant as well. And in general, the engineer to order, even though they might not have as many transactions overall from sales perspective, but the underlying transactions are going to be far more from the procurement planning perspective as well as procurement perspective. So that's where you will require far more firepower, especially if you are hosting all of these workloads when it comes to your financial processes, operational processes, planning, scheduling as part of the same workload. That's where power of HANA is going to be really handy. And if you are going to be publicly traded or audit ready company, then you will require the financial governance that is built as part of your SAP S/4HANA. It does really well in those spaces. The other limitations that you're going to run into with SAP S/4HANA is the cloud version is not as ahead as your on-prem version. So some of the capabilities that you might be used to in on-prem version, you might not find those in a cloud version, or it might be a different variation in general. They are still developing the cloud product, but the cloud product is not going to be similar to your on-prem product. So you might struggle there. The other limitations is that for smaller ETO companies, this might be too big product in terms of adoption, in terms of implementation budget as well. The last mile capabilities that you are going to find with suite-centric systems, they are going to be far more compared to your SAP S/4HANA. So that's number 7. Number 6 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. And Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O is comparable to your SAP S/4HANA, even though it is going to be slightly smaller product, primarily targets upper mid-market companies. But overall, from the product model perspective, it is going to have all of those enterprise grade capabilities that you are going to require, whether you talk about Kanban-centric processes or the allocation processes. Some of these smaller systems, such as Acumatica, may not have all of those capabilities, but you are going to find these as part of your F&O product. Most of the engineer to order companies, they might have smaller process-centric processes as well. In those, you will require mixed mode manufacturing, not only just the discrete, but also the process manufacturing capabilities. And that's where your Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O is going to be really handy. When you look at capabilities such as your distribution processes, in those, you will require distribution planning, especially for your parts business. And you might require the e-commerce capabilities as well. The systems that are going to be purely focused on your engineer to order, they might not have all of those capabilities. So you are going to find a lot more breadth overall as part of your F&O product. The Other strengths that we have with FNO is your ERP capabilities. The core ERP capabilities are going to be far richer. But when you look at the suite capabilities, for example, the kind of systems that are going to be bundled as part of your systems, similar to your Infor, LN, etc., those integrations are going to be third party. They are probably going to be add-ons. They are not going to be bundled as part of the suite. So that is the challenge that you are going to run into with your FNO product. And the ecosystem as well as the marketplace is very prevalent in general. The limitations that you are going to run into with Dynamics FNO is the pre-baked integrations for ETO companies, and these are going to be, for example, field service. If you require best of breed field service capabilities that are not going to be as coupled with your ERP model, then Microsoft has that at the database level. In some cases, especially if your field service processes are going to be really deep, then you might require workflow automation capabilities. For that, your systems such as your Power Automate, etc., since they are integrated as part of your Microsoft Dynamics, that could be really handy. And again, this is going to be a very similar limitation with FNO as well, that it's probably going to be too big for smaller companies. So that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is IFS. And IFS is going to be relevant for slightly upper mid-market, lower enterprise companies that are looking for larger ETO system that is going to have much deeper capabilities in field service EAM. And in general, this is going to be relevant for companies that are building very large products because they are going to have far thicker field service workflows as well. The strengths that you are looking at from the IFS perspective is the kind of program architecture it has. For the smaller systems, the correlation that you are going to have between your sales code, sales order, projects, programs, the way these things are going to be structured, they are probably going to have one-to-one relationship, especially in the smaller systems. But they require far more hierarchical structure with respect to when you are going to be managing these complex programs. So that's where IFS really shines. Companies looking for enterprise grade field service as well as asset management capabilities. That's where IFS is really strong. And the limitations that you are going to run into with IFS is going to be similar to any other focused system that is going to be your limited focus ecosystem is not going to be as prevalent. And it's probably not the right fit as the corporate financial ledger for your holding companies or private equity companies. So that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite Industrial Sightline. Infor CSI targets the SMB ETO firms. The way the BOM model is designed, it's designed for very complex ETO firms. You are going to find all of those capabilities as part of the suite, such as your CAD, PLM, etc. They are done very, very well. The kind of BOM structure you have, typically you require very fast processing with these BOMs. When it comes to capabilities such as let's say if you want to swap out a part, or you may need to make quick adjustment in a part when it is going to be during production because things changed, and all of these capabilities are going to be relevant for your engineer to order companies. So the strengths that you're looking at from the Infor CSI perspective is it can support both the formal as well as informal manufacturing processes. It is going to have detailed scalable costing layers. The scalability might not be as much in some other systems, even though they might be targeted for your engineer to order centric verticals. The field services processes are going to be embedded as well. So if you require that embedded experience, then Infor CSI could be a great system. The limitations that you are going to run into with Infor CSI is the disconnected financial reporting experience. It's not as immersive, as embedded as some of the other cloud native systems. The user experience as well as the learning curve is probably going to be steep just because the technology is slightly legacy, and the ecosystem is going to be weak as well. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite LN. Infor Cloud Suite LN is bigger product from Infor. This targets your upper mid-market companies. And with Infor Cloud Suite LN, you are going to have far richer capabilities from the global operations perspective. The kind of things that you are going to have as part of the suite, they might not be as rich or as comprehensive with your Infor CSI system. The other strengths with Infor Cloud Suite LN is the last mile capabilities as well as the best of breed integrations are going to be far more comprehensive. The limitations that you're going to run into with Info Cloud Suite LN is this is going to be very similar to any other focus solutions. This is probably not the best fit as corporate financial ledger. You are not going to get the best value from this system if you are using this to streamline many different business models as part of your holding companies or private equity company. The UI is probably going to be legacy and the ecosystem is going to be weak as well. So that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Dalmia Works. And Dalmia Works targets SMB ETO companies, especially if they are going to be in the plastic extrusion space or the companies that are going to be on SolidWorks. This is owned by the same company that owns SolidWorks product as well. So it is going to have tight alignment, especially if you're looking for the customer collaboration processes that, and in general, with ETO companies, you are going to have far more collaboration with customers before the BOM is finalized, before production starts. In the engineering phase itself, you are going to have that collaboration. So the strengths that you are looking at with the Dalmia Works is ETO-friendly BOMs and best for ETO companies that are going to be on SolidWorks. The limitations are going to be very similar to any other focus systems. That is going to be your technology is fairly legacy. This is a legacy system. The overall focus from the business model perspective is going to be very limited as well. And this is probably not the best fit as the corporate financial ledger. It could be a great system at the subsidiary level. So that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is Epicor Kinetic. And Epicor Kinetic was really designed for those engineer-to-order centric companies. So it is going to have all of those capabilities when you are looking at those formalized engineering or manufacturing capabilities that are baked as part of your BOMs. The way BOMs are designed, they have rigid structure when it comes to your correlation between your operations as well as your material, but it also supports the fluid structure when you are going to have some of these sub-assemblies that are not going to be correlated with your operations. And we have seen these cases in our recent implementation that this becomes a need for ETO companies. And if you are going to be rigid in these capabilities with some of the other systems, you need to make ad hoc arrangements. The other strength with Epicor Kinetic is that it is designed for those complex inventory scenarios. So some of these smaller systems, they might claim that they have product attributes supported as part of the system, but those product attributes might be available only for reporting or analytics. They might not be used for planning, procurement, MRP runs. So that's where Epicor Kinetic is really handy for spaces such as your sheet metal or medical device or fastener industries. In these industries, the inventory is going to be very complex. The final strength that we have with Epicor Kinetic is you are looking at very Microsoft look and feel. So if you are transitioning from a Microsoft looking system, then the transition is going to be easier. The limitations that we have with Epicor Kinetic is the financial layer are not going to be as robust as some of the larger systems. Typically, it supports 3 layers. And if you're going to have more than that, then you are probably going to make ad hoc arrangements. The field service and the quality is not going to be as embedded. So if you're going to be really thick with those processes, then this might not be the best fit. As well as the ecosystem and marketplace, it is going to be a similar problem as any other focused or suite-centric systems. So that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we are also going to include a link for a detailed article. So you might want to check that. We publish these videos on a weekly basis. So you might want to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. This podcast is also available in the audio form on Apple, Spotify, and Google. So if you have not checked, you might want to do that, as well as subscribe, as well as if you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2024, we combine a lot of these lists as well as insights for your transformation journey. So check that out. We will include the link of that as well. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.